you are taking the same person to any brokerage or any company you're going to. One of our core values is having a positive attitude. You want a brokerage that's going to provide you opportunity.
All right, guys, it's the end of the year, and if you're paying attention to real estate sales are down probably in many markets, right? At least 30 to 40%, some are even worse. And so what happens is at the end of the year, if agent sales are down, a lot of times they start looking to make a move, right?
Yeah.
Switch teams, switch brokerages, do all of that stuff. Yeah. And it just happens towards the end of the year. People want to start the new year fresh. So if you are thinking of making a move and switching brokerages or switching teams, what should you be looking out for?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's dive into that. Yeah. So Jason, you have the pleasure of interviewing many agents, right, who are thinking of making moves, whether they're looking at our team or stuff like that. Let's talk about some of the things you think are important when you're trying to make a move.
Yeah, no, I think, the first thing is you got to remember that you are taking the same person to any brokerage or any company you're going to, right? So first recognize that, right? And what I mean by that is you got to look within yourself to see, your performance, what type of effort, what type of mindset you brought into your last brokerage. Right. So I'd first analyze that. Once you understand yourself, once you understand your effort and your mindset, what you put into it, then I would say definitely look into, you want to find a company that has a really good culture, right? Or a culture that fits what you're looking for. The other thing would be, you want to make sure that you find a team or a company where they have coaching, they have training, I think is important. And I think also you want some mentorship, right? I mean, we have coaching, right? So I think as an agent, you want to reach out to a brokerage where you have those opportunities. And the last that I would say is going to be if you're looking to grow your business, or if you're a newer agent, you may need a brokerage where they provide opportunity, provide leads.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think those are all some really, really good bullet points. And let's maybe dive into some of those a little bit deeper. You started off with something that I think was very important, is you always bring you with you, right? Wherever you go, you're bringing all your good habits, your bad habits, right? And so I like that you started with that because it ties into kind of the mindset stuff that we like to talk about. Yeah. And so let's peel that back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What should you be analyzing if you're really trying to analyze yourself and analyze your performance, and knowing that you're going to bring yourself to this next team or brokerage anyways? Yeah. What do we got to look at?
Yeah, I think the first thing is look at, one of our core values is having a positive attitude. Yeah. So look at how you approached the last year. Look how you approached. Did you come into it with a positive attitude? Did you come into it with the good habits of putting in the time and effort to developing your craft? Basically, put in the work where it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if that would be the first thing that I would look at. Like, did I put the effort? Did I put in the work?
Did you do the work, right? Yeah. Because no matter what brokerage you go to, the brokerage doesn't make you successful, right? And I think that's something that people need to realize. If the brokerage provides a lot of tools, it's your ability to take advantage of those tools and implement those into your business, right? Like, we provide a lot of tools here at our company. Yeah. But I can't say that every agent on our team takes advantage of every single tool we have, right? And that probably applies to any place you go, right? So like I said, are you putting in the work? Are you capitalizing on really what that brokerage has to offer? Because it's not just the brokerage, right? A lot of brokerages offer similar things, right? Some tech tools, stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. Even if you look like at a seller, right? Yeah. If you're going to be presenting to a seller and you're saying, hey, well, I'm going to be doing staging, I'm going to be doing photography, I'm going to be doing an open house. Well, every listing agent is doing that, right? So brokerages are pretty even in the sense of the tools that they provide. Now, I think it goes back to, are you utilizing those tools? Yeah. Right? Are you putting that, or the other thing is, are you taking the time to learn those tools? Yeah. Right? Because you got to learn it before you can use it.
And the other thing too is, are those tools relevant to where you're at in your business? Yeah. Right? Like, if they're providing like cool CRM and all these things, but you already got your own CRM and you already got something that's working for you, maybe that's not an advantage for you, right? By going to this place that has these tech things, right? Yeah. And so I think what you got to realize is where are you at in your business now? What do you truly need, right? And I think that's where you got to be honest with yourself, right?
Yeah, and you really just analyze it. Really take inventory of what do I need, right? What did I apply at this last place? And now going forward, when I move on to the next brokerage, what am I going to need so that I can hit the level of success that I want?
Yeah, and the other thing too is, like, am I already getting that currently? What I need, but I'm just not taking advantage of it. Yeah. So I would honestly tell anybody who's considering making a move, before you make a move, really have that look yourself in the mirror and really take some time to reflect, because I'd rather you not leave a team and not leave a brokerage if they already have something really good and you're just not taking advantage of it. And then you're going to make the same mistake wherever you go, right?
And it brings up a good point, is that remember, when you're with the broker right now, they're there to mentor you and coach you right then and there. So if you are considering a move, I mean, I would say even maybe go talk to your broker and see maybe they can offer you a solution, or go ahead and some guidance on whether it's a good fit for you to stay and maybe help you, stay with them. Or maybe they might just say, hey, listen, you know what you're looking for, we don't have, you may want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and that would be, if they would told you that would be them being very honest with you and transparent. Like, hey, I can't offer you this. Maybe we don't have those things that you're looking for, or that you need. Well, I think that's good. Okay, so let's move on. So let's assume that you did that self-check. You realize, okay.
And be honest with yourself.
And you're honest with yourself, and you can look yourself dead in the mirror and say, hey, it's not me, it's maybe the current environment that I'm in, because there probably are some environments that aren't that good, right? Now let's assume you check that box off, and now you're starting to look at the new brokerage. You talked about culture, right? How important is culture, and what does culture mean to you?
Yeah, so for me, when I look at it, when we're building our business, it was really important for me to come to a place where I want to work, a place where I want to be able to have success. I want to work around like-minded people that are all driven and ready to help clients, help each other, right? I wanted to build a place where, agents are not just taking, but you're also contributing. Right. So again, I think culture may look different to each individual. So again, you have to figure out what you're looking for. Right. I mean, I believe, again, in our culture, it is a competitive environment, but it's a healthy competitiveness where we're all here to help each other. But again, you have to look at what you're looking for.
And I think culture, when people talk about culture, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because you don't necessarily want to go where everyone is exactly like you, right? Because in any office, like, you have people from all walks of life. Now, maybe you want to be around people who all have the same common goals, right? Like, hey, we're all trying to grow. And that maybe is a culture. It's a culture of growth. But you may have different personalities, right? And that shouldn't stop you from succeeding in your business or not. Now, if it's like an environment that just is like maybe a negative environment, or like there's, drama and stuff like that, that's a different story. But I would say
different isn't bad.
Different isn't bad,
different
right?
isn't bad,
And just maybe, maybe adjust your expectations, because you're going to go into I guarantee you, any team you join or any brokerage you join, you're going to get different types of people, right? And there's some that you resonate with and some that you don't. Right? And so how are you measuring what culture is, right?
And I think that, an example I can give you is like with my son, we go to different gyms to train, and when there's different type of culture, but the good thing about these gyms, they all have a common thing, right? They're all developing young kids. It's a safe development environment. And so even though it's a little different, but they all did have like the same common goal, right?
Okay, so the culture is a big one, right? And I think it's important because you got to ask yourself, is this a place where I'm going to be able to operate my business, show up every day? And also, like, are you the type of agent that shows up to the office every day? Some agents don't show up to the office. Some agents do a lot of work from home. So how important is it to you what the office is like if you never show up to the office, right? But if you're someone there in the office every day and you're like, all right, these are the people I'm going to be surrounding myself with, then you kind of have to analyze that, right? And measure that.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's definitely important. Yeah, I think to me, when I look at culture, because I spend a lot of time here in the office, so that's really important to me, and that's it's important to work around people that I want to work with.
Yep, absolutely. Right? Okay, now let's look at the other stuff, right? Let's say I think this could be different for newer agents versus maybe agents who are a little more seasoned and kind of have their business up and running, right? If you're a newer agent, what are some of the other things that we're going to want to look at when considering a team or a brokerage?
Yeah, so when I interview, newer agents, I try to put myself in their shoes. And one thing that I'm looking for, if I was in their shoes, is that if you're brand new to the industry, you don't have much opportunity. You don't have many leads. People don't know you as a real estate agent. So for the newer agents, but again, this also goes with seasoned agents, but it's you want a brokerage that's going to provide you opportunity, right? And what I mean by opportunity is either they're maybe giving you opportunity to host an open house, they're giving you opportunity with online leads, and this is going to give you an audience to get in front of so that you can go ahead and practice your skill and go ahead and, try to gain some business.
Yeah. And there's other opportunities too that I'm thinking right now. It could be opportunities to shadow somebody, right? It could be opportunities to tap into the database of that team or brokerage, right? It could be opportunities to maybe, like you said, go on a listing appointment with one of the more experienced agents or a buyer, right? Which is,
like a mentorship.
Or a mentorship program, right? That's an opportunity as well where someone's going to be helping you, right? So I think opportunity comes in different forms. It could be like they're actually giving you leads and giving you people to call, or they're giving you these other opportunities to learn from people.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is they're giving you tools so that you can go create opportunity for yourself. Yeah. Could be tech tools, it could be marketing. There's different things that you can take advantage that will ultimately help you build your business, right? So I would be looking at those. And then, okay, so let's pivot now. So now, if I'm a seasoned agent, would I be looking at that different in your eyes?
Yeah, well, as a seasoned agent, what I would be looking for is, wanting to take my business to the next level, whatever that looks like for that agent.
Yeah.
And I would probably want to be in a room with people doing it at that high level and seeing what they're doing, because that's someone I can mentor, be coached by, and shadow.
Yeah.
Right. So as a seasoned agent, you want to analyze who you're surrounding yourself with, which I think it goes also back with the culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I talk to agents all the time, and I have agents sometimes say, hey, I want to grow.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a very general statement. Right. Yeah. And so what I usually do is I start peeling the layers back. Okay, tell me what growth means to you. Yeah. Do you want to close more deals? Do you want to raise your price point? Do you want to become more of a leader? You want to lead other people, right? There's different ways to grow. Do you want to just make more income?
Yeah.
Do you want more time back?
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
So those are different things, right? Because just saying I want to grow, if you're not specific about that, right, then how do you know what's the best place for you?
And I think it's difficult though, Enrique. I think it's difficult because, going back to really taking inventory of yourself, like in the beginning of this conversation, I think that's extremely important. Unfortunately, people don't know what they don't know, right? So I think it's great that you're able to provide that perspective, like, okay, cool, you want to grow. And then like you said, you start peeling that back, and then really they really can define where they want to grow or what they want to do with their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, I talked to an agent recently, and they said they want to get their broker license, right? And I'm like, okay, I have my broker's license, right? And I'm like, but what do you want to do with your broker license, right? Because just getting a license to have a license, I see a lot of people say, I'm going for my broker license, right? Like multiple people, I see it all over, right? And I'm like, okay, well, do you plan to open this big giant brokerage? Yeah. Right? No,
because even right now, you're not using your broker license.
I'm a broker associate at EXP.
Yeah.
And so at one point I was the broker for 13 years, and that came with a whole different load of responsibility that I would probably recommend most people don't become a broker.
Yeah.
Because in today's age, there's platforms now where you can pretty much operate like a broker without taking on the liability.
Yeah.
But when someone says, I just want to get my broker license, I go, well, what are you going to do? Do you want to open up a brokerage and build a corporation that has 3,000 agents?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a whole different path.
Yeah.
Right? Or you just want to say, I have the license.
Yeah.
And spend all these months studying for the test, right? Are you trying to make more money? There's different ways to make more money, right? I think, like you said, you have to really peel the onion back, and you have to define what does growth and success mean to you. Right?
And that it's challenging as an agent, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, but you really, I think it's important, that you also interview other brokerages, interview other teams, because you're going to see what's out there, and then you're going to find what's a good fit for you, right? And you'll be able to really, like I said, take inventory of yourself. And when you take that inventory and then you're shopping around and looking at other brokerage, you may be able to find a good fit.
And I think what a lot of people will realize, and people will, like when I was a kid, I had to learn the hard way, right? I had to learn by failing myself, even though my parents might have said, hey, don't do this or don't do that, right? And so now when I'm in a leadership position, I try to tell agents okay, go ahead and do that, but then you're going to realize it's not different than what you're doing now, right? And people get shiny object syndrome, right? Well, if I just went to this brokerage, maybe something would change.
Yeah.
If I just went over here and I was around different people, all of a sudden, I would start working harder, right?
Yeah.
And I think what I would caution people with is what a lot of people will realize is when they go to different teams and different brokerages, after that new car smell wears off, right? The first 3 months of oh, this is a new thing, you start realizing that you're back to it's the same old thing, right? You still got to go prospect. You still got to go market yourself.
Yeah.
You still got to learn. You still got to go to training. You still got to be responsible and have time block and all those things. Right?
I mean, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's, I really look at, I'm 45 years old, and I look at now what I've realized is I look at people's, pattern, right? I look at people's pattern, and I really feel that if you've shown success in some area in your life, that can definitely translate into real estate. So again, it's, when people are trying to chase, different brokerages, I highly recommend take a pause, unpack, your own inventory, and look at, what you can do to have success, and see if you can align yourself with a broker or a team that can, kind of guide you and help you, reach those goals.
And here's the thing that for people to do: study people that inspire you, right? Maybe other top producers, people that you're, trying to be like. And if you look, a lot of top producers have been at the same brokerage for a long time.
Yeah.
They make very few moves because what they realize is that if I just stay consistent and the energy it's going to take me to take my business from here and start all over here, if I just put that energy back into just being better at what I do, right? My business would grow as a result. Because every time you move brokerages, you take a couple of steps back.
You got to learn their system.
Yeah, you got to transfer your license. You got, people take time off. I got to, do this. I got to get my new headshot, my new business cards. Like, that's weeks and weeks and weeks. And if you have something that's already working, why do you want to disrupt that? Yeah. Put that energy back into just prospecting more, right?
And basically double down
on what's already working. And so I think this is it's a touchy subject, right? Because if something's truly not working for you and it is the brokerage, that's a different story. But the majority of the time, it's the individual who maybe isn't capitalizing on what's in front of them.
Right? No, I agree. I definitely agree. It's and again, we're kind of beating this, but it's going back to the beginning of it. It's really take that inventory, and that'll help guide you to the next step.
One other thing that I think is important is when you are looking at where you want to be and what success is like to you, like, it's very, very important to analyze how you measure success, right? Because sometimes you can see, well, hey, I'm going to go join this brokerage because there's this top producer guy there or this team leader. But analyze, like, where are they at, right? Do they just produce a lot, right? And that's great, right? But what else is going on in their life, right? Are there other characteristics where you want to be like them, right? Producing and just selling a lot of homes isn't the only measure of success, right? And so I would say, what do I want my whole entire life to look like? Not just my business, but all the other pieces of my life. And who can I surround myself with that is going to maybe rub off on me and influence me to affect all the areas of my life, not just my real estate business, because they all connect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's important to do that. I think it's, I really think to be a top producing agent in whether real estate, mortgage, anything in sales, I think it's easy to do that in the sense of you just got to dedicate a lot of time and energy and be disciplined. But it's becomes difficult when you have to balance other things. When you want to be a top producing agent, you want to be a top producing dad, you want to be a top producing husband, you want to be a top producing, family, part of the family. So that's where the true challenge to me comes in place. Because when we're younger, we're 23 years old, no kids, no wife. It was all work, all business. It was, that to me it was easier. Now it's a little bit more challenging because I want to be great at all those areas of my life. Right. Yep. And so that's a really good point that you bring that up. And I think the other thing is too, there's going to be stages. Like I mentioned, when I was younger, I didn't have kids and a wife, so I was able to work 12-hour days, no problem. Right. And that was part of that stage. Yeah. And then when I got a little older, when I have a family, now maybe I'm only working 6 to 8 hours because I got to dedicate other parts of my energy to my family.
Yeah.
And then once my kids grow up, I'll be back in here 10, 12-hour days. I don't know, because I don't golf. Right? I don't fish. So I'll probably be back in here working more, right?
Yeah. And so that's important, right? So and it goes back to just understanding where you're at in your journey, right? If you're maybe a more seasoned agent and you're like, hey, I have a family, I still want to make good money, but I want time freedom.
Yeah.
Right? How do I keep, making, multiple 6 figures, but get my weekends back? And that's where you got to look into the brokerage or the team that you're joining. Maybe they have solutions, right? Like with us, we have a lot of collaboration that happens to where some of our top agents, they have families and they have consistency in leads coming in. They have, people they can lean on, admin support, other agents, so that they can take the vacations, they can do all these things.
And their business still moves.
And their business still moves, right? Yeah. And that may be different for the guy just starting, like you said, that doesn't have any kids.
Oh yeah, you want to do it all.
Hey, I just want to see where I get paid the most, and I'm willing to work, 60 hours a week or whatever that might be.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I think that's totally fine.
But until you think about that and analyze that, you won't really know like what's ultimately a good fit, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes like what looks like a good fit on the outside may not be what you truly need, right? Is what I think. Yeah. Any closing thoughts for anybody that's going to be thinking of making a move?
No, I think I think we nailed it. I really think you start from the beginning is really take inventory of who you are, your personality, how much effort, how much work, how much discipline, how much consistency did you put in, right? And then once you analyze that, definitely shop around. Don't just meet with one broker, one team. Shop around and find the one that's going to be a good fit for what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. My closing thought is back to, repeating kind of what I said, is once you know what you want, I would go interview with a team or a brokerage and I would say, hey, this is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah. Because that clarity of you knowing what you're trying to accomplish can help you figure out if that's the right team for you or not. If you're like, hey, I want to make this amount of money, I want this amount of time off, I want to have this, whatever that might look for you, they can quickly, if they're being honest with you, they'll tell you, hey, look, that's something we can do and I can support you in that, or you know what, like that's not realistic for our group, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
then you free up your time, right? You don't waste so much time like looking around or joining someone only to find out like 3 months later that it wasn't what you thought it was, right?
Definitely.
So I think we hit it, guys. Go talk to your broker or your team leader first.
Yes.
Be clear on what you want. Tell them exactly what you want before you just leave them. And another thing I would say, right, because we've had people come and go, is if you're going to leave a brokerage, do it the right way.
Yeah,
right? Go the same way that you joined the brokerage, right? Where you had this relationship that you've built and you've met with them multiple times and you've had these one-on-one meetings and you started off this partnership.
Yeah.
Exit that way as well. I think that goes a long way, right? When you can sit down, talk to someone face to face.
I'm laughing because you're saying don't leave brokerages through text message.
Don't text someone and say, hey, I'm leaving, guys. It's don't email someone, right? Like and no one's perfect, right? So I'm not, but I think coming from being on this side of the coin,
I'm laughing.
It goes a long way, right?
I'm laughing
to keeping that relationship thriving, right?
And remember that it's a small community, right?
Yeah.
Where our paths are going to cross. If you plan on doing this for the next 30, 40 years, your paths are going to cross. So and that's why I love what you said in the sense of meet with your broker meet with your team and see if they can provide solutions. And a great team leader and a great broker is really going to coach you and say, hey, listen, you know what, you're right. Maybe it's good we part ways, or maybe we can make some adjustments. But I think having what I call it is having that uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Have that uncomfortable conversation because it's gonna help you grow.
Absolutely. Guys, if you need something, reach out to us, DM us, wherever you see this video. If you want to book a one-on-one strategy session with Jason or I, go to meetenrique.com. That takes you to our calendar. You could book a session. We'll meet with you over Zoom or we'll jump on a call. We're an open book. We'll share what we're doing, what you can implement on your own, right, and take it from there. It's our way of giving back. We've been doing this for 20 years now, and we love giving back and helping people grow, right? Absolutely. And through your growth, we grow. Right?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.